Prospects, prospects, prospects. This is a term not thrown around very loosely anymore. Someone gets a win in the UFC, they're immediately called a prospect. We've seen many a good prospect in the UFC go on to achieve good things, win titles, have incredible performances. However, we've also seen many prospects get exposed, lose big fights, and honestly not live up to the hype. However, in this video, I'm going to go through all the way from the flyweight men's division up to the heavyweight division and give my favourite prospects. I'm not going to go for the obvious ones, like Kevin Vallejo, Sloan Kavanagh. I'm going to get some underrated, some guys that are under the radar who I think are pretty fucking good. Starting off with the flyweight division. First guy I want to talk about is Ray Saruya. I really like this guy. Yes, he has lost in his last fight, but that was to the fucking champ. Well, champ Josh Van. Incredible. Ray Saruya's got incredible grappling. We see him go out there in his debut, absolutely ragdoll. Carlos Hernandez. Very dominant win. He's only 23 years of age, coming off of a loss. He took some decent amount of time off since UFC 313. I really like this guy's grappling against Josh Van. He put up a real good pace. The cardio is not an issue. You couldn't really get Van down, but he's got incredible accolades. Japanese junior Olympian. The Japanese are good at fucking wrestling. Uh, he's only young, took time off. If he can improve that striking and maybe set up them takedowns more, he'll be a real problem in this division. He's got a fight coming up soon against Jesus Aguilar. I can see him easily beating Jesus Aguilar. Jesus Aguilar is pretty mid, very bottom of the barrel guy. Pretty sure he just lost to Suma Dwerji, who's pretty mid himself. But I'm kind of worried, the striking's a big red flag. He's coming off of a loss, not fought in a while, could be a bit of ring rust. But he's only young, surely going to improve. I really like Ray Saru. I can see him being ranked in that top 5 to 10 coming into 2027. I really like this guy. Uh, Real good prospect, only losing to Josh Van. That's not bad. He's 23 years of age. He's not even in his prime yet. He's still young, going to improve. And I really like Ray Saruya. Next guy I want to talk about, Manuel Rodriguez, coming off of an impressive. Eh, it depends how you see it. I see it as an impressive debut win. He got dropped in the first round against Borjas, then took him down straight away in the transition and held him down for the whole round, showing incredible durability. He could have just quit, showing good durability, good takedowns under the pressure, held him down, good grappling, held him down. Obviously, he trains with DC at AKA, so he's going to have some good wrestling. He's only 26, undefeated guy, coming off of an impressive debut KO win against Kevin Borjas. Kevin Borjas is a good guy in this division. He's not beaten no one of relevance really. I mean, he fraud checked that weird looking Mexican guy. Ronaldo Rodriguez, I'm pretty sure, but Emmanuel Rodriguez went out there and KO'd him. Borjas is a solid guy, undefeated, got a fight coming up soon against Matt Schnell, I think. That's a pretty winnable fight for him. I really like Emmanuel Rodriguez, very fast on the feet, solid grappler, packs power on his punches. He is a tiny bit small, but it's the flyweight division. I can see him going on to do real good things in this sport, undefeated, good gym, a lot of hype, big Mexican name, big star. I really like Emmanuel Rodriguez. The final guy I want to talk about, Alden Correa. I really like this guy. Coming off of he's 2-0 in UFC, trains to Josh Van, coming off of good wins against Alden Garul, and a TKO win in his debut. It's Alessandro Costa. Alessandro Costa's a very good guy in this division. We see him last time out. Get a TKO win against Stuart Nichols, so his wins are aging well. I don't really rate Lewis Garul that much, but that's a decent step up fight just to build him up. I really like Alden Correa. He's a very slick striker, quite big for the division. Pops that jab very well, very slick striking. He's kind of like a Josh Van, but a tiny bit worse, obviously. He's not got a fight booked. I'd like to see him get back in there pretty soon. He last fought on February at UFC Houston. I really like Alden Correa. Grappling could be a bit of an issue. We've not really seen him fight a grappler yet, but his striking's pretty good. Striking's clean. I like this guy in the division. I think he's going to go on to do big things. Next division, the bantamweight division, and for me, I've only got two guys as my real prospects. There's a lot of other guys that are hyped up as prospects, but I don't think they're all that. Let's get straight to it. First guy I've got, Alexandre Topuria. This guy looks fucking incredible. Obviously, the brother of Ilya is going to give him some hype. However, he's not just like a Herbert Burns, just a brother. He is truly an elite fighter. He needs to fight more often. Something with the Topuria family where they just don't like to fight more than once a year. However, he had looked absolutely incredible in his two fights. Yeah, Colby Thickness, that was a bit dodgy, but Colby Thickness isn't that good. I can understand that. But the Bex Almacan fight, he was so clear of Bex Almacan. Bex Almacan's a decent fighter in the division, completely outclassed him on the feet. Incredible boxing of Alexandre Topuria. He's also got good takedown defense. Obviously, he's not as good as his brother. He says he is, but let's just be honest here. You're not that good, buddy. He's 30 years of age, 2-0 in the UFC. he needs a big fight next. We need to not I won't say fast track him. Don't go and give him like fucking Hyota Yarn. But I've seen rumors of the Bryce Mitchell. That could be. For him, I wouldn't want that fight. That could be a bit of a banana slip. Bryce Mitchell's a good grappler, but he's for sure a solid fighter, well-rounded, incredible boxing, good grappling. I would like to see him get big. Matchup next. I really like Alessandro Topuria. He looks like a real good fighter in this UFC bantamweight division. And the other guy, who I believe is a truly elite prospect, is Ethan Ewing. Yes, he may be a bit overrated right now. I didn't respect the game. I picked Rafael Esteban to beat him last time out. However, I'm now fully on the train. I do think he's a tad bit overrated at the moment. Overrated doesn't mean bad. 28 years of age, 2-0 in the UFC, two incredible wins against two undefeated prospects. Well, Cameron Mulmaker, I think that's his name. Simon, I can't remember. Rafael Esteban, both undefeated at the time. He's got incredible boxing, elite takedown defense. And what I like most about him is he's patient. He's not always going out there swinging like a madman, trying to look for the KO in the first 5 seconds. He's not like Terence McKinney. He's incredible on the feet, solid, just incredible boxing, popping that jab. I like the way he goes to the body. You got that body shot TKO against Rafael Esteban. Incredible takedown defense. Esteban, a solid grappler, couldn't get him down once. Esteban's gone up there now, grappled guys like Charles Johnson before. I really like I'm high on the Ethan Ewing hype train. Be interesting to see what they do with him next. He's 28, a big name now. You know, they didn't really want him. I still believe to this day that they wouldn't have signed him if they weren't looking for a guy for Cameron Mulmaker to KO. They didn't want him at the time. Obviously, he did well on Fury. I don't know if they give him a ranked opponent next. I think he's ready for the rankings, but I won't be surprised if they give him an unranked guy. Keep the hype going. I really like Rafael Esteban, Ethan Ewing, and we'll go back to there's some honourable mentions. You know, you got your Santiago Lunas, you got your Elijah Smiths, but I just don't think they're as well rounded as Topuria and Ewing. I think Luna's a bit chinny, doesn't really have the high level boxing. He's got decent grappling. Same for Elijah Smith, got decent grappling. The striking isn't all there. He's got some good finishes. We all know that slam curve. But for me, the two real prospects are Ethan Ewing and Alexandre Topuria. Next up, we have the featherweight division, and for me, there is two guys I believe are true, real prospects. They're well-rounded, they're solid everywhere. So yeah, first up, Alberto Montez looked incredible in his debut last time out, UFC 26. You know, he's 31 years old. That's a solid age, not too old, not too young. 11-1, good experience in and out of the UFC. Obviously, he's 1-0. Nasty performance against Ricky Tercios. I, for some stupid reason, picked Ricky Tercios. Don't know what the fuck was going through my head there. He's a nasty striker, incredible on the ground. Got lots of wins via Darce and Anaconda. That's his specialty choke. He's solid everywhere. Looks like Ilia Topuria, pretty funny guy. I like Alberto Montez, solid everywhere, well-rounded. You're going to take a real talented guy in this division to beat him because the main reason I'm picking guys in this list is because they're well-rounded. That's why I've not picked other certain guys who I'll get to in a minute. However, I like Alberto Montez. He's well-rounded, very powerful, good on the ground, and he will be a real decent prospect in this division. I can see him beating a lot of guys, and I can for sure see him in their rankings in the coming years. And the second guy I'm here to talk about, Larian Douglas. This guy may be my favourite prospect in the entire sport at the moment. 30 years of age, 1-0 in the UFC. He's on a 6-fight knockout win streak. Destroyed Julian Erosa in his debut. The boxing's incredible. The power's incredible. Put him out with a jab. He actually has Chris boxing. You know, these guys like Tommy McMillan, these bums. He's not a bum. Goes out there, throws like a madman. But Erosa? Larian Douglas is calm, collected, powerful, precise, and looks like a real prospect. The only question is the grappling. You know, we've not seen him fight a grappler. He's got good wins on the regional scene. He used to be a Fury or LFA champ where he beat Javier Reyes, another guy in this division who's okay. Not quite on the level, in my opinion. However, I really like Larian Douglas. Incredible performance in his debut. You know, I would like to see him go against a grappler to prove it, you know. Like, give him, like a Pat Sabatini, someone like that. I know he's got a fight book, but someone like that can grapple, then the hype is truly real. I do believe in Larian Douglas. I really like Larian Douglas. His grappling, his striking looks incredible. But we've not seen him fight a grappler. However, I do believe he is for sure ranked future or future in the rankings. And yeah, he is my favourite prospect in the featherweight division. And some honourable mentions, obviously the GOAT Nathaniel Wood, but I just don't think he's going to go as further than guys. I think he'll get in the rankings. I just don't think his lack of KO power will hold him back. Obviously, Lucien Keita, the guy would be our son. He's good as well. Austin Bashi, he's solid grappling. The striking's a bit weak. And Luke Riley's decent striker, but the grappling's a bit weak. If you combine Austin Bashi and Luke Riley, you'd have a generational fighter. However, featherweight division's okay. There's a lot of decent prospects. However, I just believe um, Alberto Montez and Larian Douglas are the two best out there. Could be wrong though, but I do for sure believe in Larian Douglas more than Alberto Montez. nevertheless, solid division full of prospects. Next up, the lightweight division. This division stacked from top to bottom with killers in every aspect of the division. You've got incredible grapplers, you've got incredible strikers, you've got guys that are well rounded. But for me, I've got two guys who I see as the best prospects in this division, obviously outside the rankings. And I have first, Fares Ziam. Yes, he's in the rankings. I know I backtracked on my statement. However, he's far too good. And they're giving him Tom Nolan next. What a stupid matchup. Ziam clearly deserves someone higher, like a Ziam Chandler would have made more sense than Ziam Rufi. Ziam Rufi, Chandler Rufi, Rufi, however you say his name, it's not even his fucking name. But no, Fares Ziam's very solid, destroyed Sadikov last fight. That was fucking easy work for him, and Sadikov was solid before that fight. He's 29 years old, in his prime on a 6-fight win streak. The record's a bit dodgy, but that was when he was young. He's got wins over solid guys. I mean, destroyed Matt Frevola. Matt Frevola's not the best of wins though. Jai Herbert, he's got a win over. Who else has he beaten? He was meant to fight Caio Fernandez. That would have been a great fight. However, he pulled out. I think his grandmother died or something like that. But he's been training lately with some incredible partners at Onyx Lab. That's the Trevor Whitman gym with Justin Gaethje, Kamaru Usman, and Corey Sandhagen has been training with incredible guys. Gaethje has been praising him up. Obviously, you're going to do that as your teammate. But number 15 in the world, really, he's solid everywhere. Incredible grappler, solid on the feet. And yeah, deserves a much higher matchup next than Tom Nolan. However, that's what they've given him, I'm pretty sure. But for sure, a future star in the division, only 29 years of age, only getting better every fight. Looks very well rounded, incredible prospect. Clearly, the UFC don't like him or want to push him, otherwise, they wouldn't have given him fucking Tom Nolan. However, the next guy, I think this guy is incredibly well rounded, and that is Quillan Selkill, the Australian, 26 years of age, 11-1 on an 11-fight win streak, got solid wins, big upset wins, knockout wins, decision wins, shown he's incredible everywhere. Obviously, we all know that KO against Nasrat Haqparast. But what impressed me more was that performance versus Jamie Malarkey. Showed his grappling. I know it's Jamie Malarkey, but he's shown he's a solid grappler. Not everyone in this division is solid everywhere. He is solid everywhere. And I think he will beat Beneil Dariush in his next fight. We've seen guys like Rubovic and Dawson get fights up, but I didn't really rate Rubovic and Dawson. I picked Duncan. I picked Duncan to beat Moicano, but I don't think he's as well rounded as Selkill is. I think Selkill will beat Dariush and only spot in the rankings. Very good everywhere, funny as well, big name in Australia, big star. He's got a bright future in this division. Some honourable mentions in the lightweight division would be your Mason Joneses, your McKinneys, your Dawsons, your Rebetskis, guys like that that are solid, but aren't as well rounded and have lost lately. For me, this division is fucking stacked from top to bottom, and for sure, Ziam and Salkild are my two picks as the best unranked prospects. Moving on now to the welterweight division, I've got three guys I've got on my list I really like. I think they're very solid, well rounded. Yeah, let's get straight into it. The first guy is Jacoby Smith. Looks very good so far in UFC. 12-0. Finished every one of his opponents. A lovely win last time out against Josiah Harrell. I think that's his name. The guy had a bit of hype. I mean, the referee, what were you doing? It was a brutal stoppage, nasty elbows on the ground and pound. Now he had a dodgy fight against Nico Price, but Nico Price can do that. He's a crafty vet for a reason. Did get him out there in the second round though. So he's not had the most fights in UFC. Not really beaten no one too high level, but I've been impressed with what I've seen so far. Used to train with DC at AKA. He's got incredible wrestling. I'd like to see him get someone ranked or on the verge of the rankings. As we've seen lately, he called out Kevin Holland. I wouldn't mind that fight next. It's looking like apparently that Leon Edwards is going to fight. What's his name? Christian Rodriguez. So maybe book that be Kevin Holland. Give the winner a ranked opponent. I really like the look of Jacoby Smith so far in the UFC. Solid grappler, solid striking. Only young, only improving. Looks like to be a real prospect in the division. However, next guy is Matubek Orobai. We're seeing what he did last time out, moving up to the welterweight division. No, moving down to the welterweight division. Sorry, is he moving up? I don't know. Can't remember. But destroyed Chris Curtis by decision. What amount? Destroyed Chris Curtis by decision. Absolutely dominated Chris Curtis. Ragdolled him. It was like watching Khabib. Curtis had no chance, no success, just held him there. It was pretty boring, not gonna lie, but the grappling was pretty high level, dominant grappling win. Obviously destroyed Jack Hermanson. We all seen that nasty KO. Got the winner's aged well, even though he's a cheating bastard. A submission winning round one over Tafik Masaev. One loss in the UFC is against Rebeski. He has lost in the UFC. However, that was an absolute war and could have gone either way. He's got incredible. He's very well rounded. Good curve power. Good grappling. For him, I'd like to see him get a ranked opponent next, or someone on the verge of the rankings. But this welterweight division is so stacked. The rankings, It's not easy to get a ranked opponent in this division. However, Allbright is very solid, very well rounded, and also a pretty funny guy and a big name in the division, coming off of some decent wins. Very good prospect. And the final guy, who is he getting ranked? I don't know. I don't no. He's fighting Joel Alvarez. I can't remember if Joel Alvarez is ranked. However, Yaroslav Amosov, incredible prospect. Obviously, done his majority of his work outside of the UFC, 29-1, former Bellator champ. Not been the most active, but I'm pretty sure he was involved with the whole Ukraine war stuff. But yeah, trained with Usyk before. The guy's incredible. He's a grappling. What am I saying? His specialty is the Darce or the Anaconda choke. Got a nasty Darce against Neil Magny in the first round. I'm not saying that Joe Rogan, but who does that to Neil Magny? Nobody really goes out there and smokes Neil Magny in round one. I know he's only getting older, but that's an impressive win in your debut and a tough opponent to do it against. I really like Yaroslav Amosov. Incredible grappler, very well rounded on the feet, tons of experience, 32 years of age, so he's not completely out of his prime yet, but he's in the prime of his career, you'd say. Big fight against Joel Alvarez at UFC 328, I'm pretty sure. If he wins that, should be getting a ranked opponent or even in that number 15 spot. Very good prospect. I like Yaroslav Amosov. And for the honourable mentions, really, you got Islam Dulatov looks good, but he's only had one fight against Ty Miller, not the best opponent. Carlos Leao looks good. Donchenko looks okay. Seung Hyun Ko, the guy that beat Orban Elliott and Phil Rowe, looks alright. And you got Punahele Soriano on a decent win streak. Bar them three, the division is pretty mid outside of big prospects. There's a couple of the whole division, and the division of a whole is stacked. The 155, 170, 145 tend to be the best division in the sport because they're heavier guys, but they still have that lighter man skill, technical skill, not like that heavyweight blobs. Yeah, really good welterweight division. For me, the three are Allbright, Jacoby Smith, and Yaroslav Amosov. Moving on now to the middleweight division. And to be honest, I don't really rate this division very highly. It's pretty mid, not gonna lie. There's not too many high level guys, like unranked guys. Obviously, the top of the division, they're skilled, but Brendan Allen's number 5 in the world in the middleweight division. So that's all I have to say. However, the three guys I've gone for. The first one, Bo Nickel. I'm still a believer in Bo Nickel. I'm not a massive fan. I'm not huge on the hype train, but I do believe I was impressed with his performance against Rodolfo Vieira. Very good. Improvements in the striking. Nice head kick. Rodolfo Vieira is not that good. Neither is Kyle Dawkins, who he's fighting at the White House, but I do think he will beat guys like that. RDR realistically was an awful matchup. All right, RDR's an awful matchup for everyone. He has only lost to RDR. RDR, that's a respectable loss. Maybe not the way he lost, like he basically quit. But I do think he is good enough to be ranked in the future in this division. I don't see him ever becoming champ, but I think he gets ranked maybe top 10 at a push. His wrestling's great. He trains at ATT, which is arguably one of the best gyms in the world. So he's going to have improvements in the wrestling and the striking. Obviously, the wrestling credentials are elite. The collegiate state wrestling or whatever it was. I'm not American. I don't understand all that bullshit. He's only 30 years of age. No CTE. He's 8-1. Like his brain's fine. None of that like fight damage, wear and tear. I do believe he has had the fraud check he's needed. He's been clowned a lot. I'm pretty sure he's used to that shit now. He's got that fire in him to come back in vengeance and do well in the middleweight division. And I do think he gets past Carl Dawkins and probably gets ranked by the end of the next year or two. There's a couple of guys in this division he could beat in the rankings, like Delidze. Probably beat CLD, Cannonier maybe. Guys like that, I do think he can beat those type of guys. I do think he's continuing to improve and will be ranked. However, the next guy I've got, Ateba Gautier. This may be the first guy to get fraud checked by still winning. I don't understand the narrative of the hate on Ateba Gautier. Yes, he didn't KO Puliev, but what? Just because he didn't KO him means he shit, does it? Yes, he looks a bit dodgy on the feet sometimes. He's too patient and sometimes a bit too hesitant. Puliev was tagging him up, but technically he's 24 years old. Do we believe that? I don't know. He's African. There's never like an African to lie about your age. But if that's true, 24 years of age, he's not that experienced, whether he is 24 or not in the UFC. That was a big learning curve for him. Somehow he's got hate for losing, and I do think he is one of the most powerful and dangerous guys on the feet in the division. He gives many guys problems, and he's basically got a free win against Ozzy Diaz next. Ozzy Diaz is arse. He's 1-on-1 in the UFC. Shit striker. Not good enough grappler to expose him. If you're going to beat a Teba Gautier, you're either going to have to take him down or be fast and just as powerful as him on the feet. And I don't think Ozzy Diaz is any of that. That is a free win for Teba Gautier. However, I think the power alone will get him high in the division. The technique, he's a bit dodgy, Guys that stick at range and move about like a Sean Strickland could give him Will probably beat him, obviously now, but in the future, if he gets up there, the grappling's a question mark. But I do think the power is good enough. He's got that fear factor on the feet. He's a scary guy. Trains at Manchester, top team, whatever it's called. There's some good guys in that gym. Lauren Murphy carrying it, but I do think he is good and is on my prospect list, and I think he easily smokes Ozzy Diaz next. However, the main guy, the biggest prospect, which isn't actually that good, is Yusri Belgarui. Let's be honest, he's not the best fighter in the world. This is why the middleweight division's asked. 33 years of age, obviously has a large career in kickboxing where he's fought guys like Adesanya twice. Yes, he lost, and Pereira, he's got a win over Pereira somehow. Arguably a robbery, apparently, but I didn't watch it because I'm not a kickboxing fan. However, looks incredible in his first two fights in the UFC, beating two good prospects. I'm pretty sure that's all his fault. I may be wrong, but I know he has beaten Asmat Bakoyev. That was a pretty good win at the time before he went and lost to fucking Tresean Gore. And last time out on the Seattle card, he beat who did he beat? His name? Mansour Abdul Malik. That's the guy. Absolute fraud check up Mansour Abdul Malik. I predicted him to do that. Mansour Abdul Malik was an overhyped prospect. One of those guys that is not on my list because he's overhyped. Not all that. But the striking's incredible, Yusuf Belgari. Obviously, kickboxer. And he trains at the perfect gym for his style. Teixeira MMA. We've seen it with Alex Pereira. He's boys of Alex Pereira. They're teammates. And that is the perfect gym for him. He's making big improvements every fight. The takedown defense is getting there. Yes, Abdul Malik took him down, but you're new to MMA. You're going to get taken down. He didn't get ragdolled. He didn't get submitted. And I honestly quite like Yusri Belgari. He's a fun fighter, very powerful on the feet, dynamic on the feet, very good striker. And I think he will be ranked in the coming years. I do think the UFC will probably give him that fast track treatment because of his affiliation to Pereira, and he's a pretty big name outside the rankings. And if he keeps putting on performances like that against Belgari, he will be in the rankings soon. I really like Yusri Belgari in this division. I'm not going to lie, I don't think he wins a belt or anything like that. It probably gets exposed grappling wise. And as Joe Rogan would say, how does he make 185? He's absolutely fucking huge. But I do think he's a good prospect and will be ranked. Honourable mentions, you've got Bang Sangur Susakaev, who I don't really rate, but he's decent, I suppose. Marco Tullio, but he got destroyed by fucking CLD. Yeah, there's not really many guys in this division. This is probably the worst division in the UFC. Talent-wise, obviously at the top of it is pretty exciting at the moment. We all want Sean Strickland to destroy Chimaev. DDP, Brendan Allen. Not Brendan Allen, fuck Brendan Allen. Imavov, the dirty cheat. Yeah, division's pretty arse, but I'm going with Gautier, Belgarui, and Bonical as my three biggest prospects in the division. Wow, this division's arse. Moving on now, up to the light heavyweight division. Was there a title fight last Saturday in the lightweight division? I don't think there was. No. Anyway, the division has no real big prospects in the top of the echelon of the rankings. Anyway, not that we're here to talk about that, but there's three solid ones that are unranked. I'm pretty sure we know who they are. First one, Navajo Sterling, 28 years of age, 9-0, 4-0 in the UFC, getting a decent win last 2 weeks ago in the Seattle card against Adesanya versus Pyfer against Bruno Lopez. That was a decent performance, looked very good, dictated the pace of the fight. Nasty TKO victory, his first one in the UFC. You know, he's not fought the best levels of comp, but he's winning. He got his first TKO. He's looking improved. He's showing improvements every fight. Trains at a great gym, CKB. They may have a champion now. I can't remember. I don't know who that guy is that won the belt on Saturday, but good training partners, good sparring partners, good gym. Good striker. The grappling could be a bit of a question mark. He's not fought a real grappler yet that can. I think Bruno Lopez got him down, but Bruno Lopez, he's not an elite grappler. I don't know if he ever touches the belt or anything like that, but I think he's a solid guy. Got good role models around him. I think he'll reach the rankings in a couple of years. Solid guy. They're building him up slowly, which is good to see. But I think he needs to step up in comp now. You can't be going out there fighting the Bruno Lopez's of the light heavyweight division when you're 4-0 undefeated, can you? Anyway, solid guy. Next guy, Abdul Rahman Yakayev, 2-0 in the UFC, only 25 years of age, so he's young. Turkish guy, I think he's Russian, Chechenian, something like that, somewhere in the Middle East. He's a very good grappler, we'll give him that. Very good grappler. Took down, he's got 2 submission wins, 2 rear naked choke wins against Tricoli and, what's the guy's name? Ribeiro, I'm pretty sure. But I will say he looked a bit dodgy in that fight against Ribeiro. He was catching him with kicks, but Yakayev took him down. Bit questionable striking, but I think the grappling skills can carry him in this division. Very good grappler. Once he gets you down, he likes that rear naked choke. He's got lots of wins by rear naked choke. Very good grappler. Obviously, was a former light heavyweight champ in a B tier Organisation Ares is not too bad, but I think you need to be slow with him. I think he'll get chinned by someone half decent now. Maybe in the future when he's got a few more wins, he'll be okay. But let's be honest, he's not fought anyone good. Promising though, 9-0, 2-0 in UFC, 2 finishes. Looks good. Keep giving him them guys. He's been given Julius Walker next. I think that's a winnable fight, very easy. Julius Walker is not that good. Probably replicate that Brenton Ribeiro performance, get another rear naked choke win. Julius Walker is not all that, but decent prospect in the division. This division is not the best, though, let's be honest. And the final guy, Iwo Baraneski. Saw him live at UFC London, looked very good. 39-second KO of Austin Lane. His debut, one of the most exciting rounds of all time against Ibo Aslan. However, I want not to sound boring. That style does not usually get you too far. You know, he goes out there all guns blazing like Terence McKinney. When we've seen what happened to Terence McKinney in the lighter division, especially in the heavier divisions. Unless you are genuinely Tom Aspinall level of skill, which he could be. You know, we've not seen anyone put him out yet. He's only young. You are probably going to get slimed out fighting like that. But it's worked for him so far. And I'm a bit worried for him in his next matchup. Billy Elakana. Billy Elakana is the honourable mention for the best prospect in this division. He's very good. Only lost to Bogdan Guskov, beating guys like Ivo Aslan. Did it in a better way than he did. Did he beat Kutalaba? I don't know if he beat Kutalaba. I don't think he did. He's beaten some bottom of the barrel guys in the light heavyweight division, bouncing back after the Guskov win. Very good prospect, just like Baraneski. But I think Baraneski has a power advantage. But I think Billy Elakana is a better grappling. Is higher. He's a better. He beat Justin Taff. I remember now. He's a better grappler, more well-rounded. But you know, Baraneski's a powerful striker, a fun fighter to watch. Never been to a decision. A fun guy. Always brings it. Has about 3 minutes of cage time in his 2 UFC fights. Very exciting, promising guy. And I'm pretty sure he's training with Jan Blachowicz, which should be good for him. Jan Blachowicz, one of the goats of the light heavyweight division. Very good guy to train with, obviously Polish himself. And Iro Baraneski clearly possesses that legendary Polish power. Yeah. As I just mentioned, the light heavyweight division has minimal prospects. Probably honourable mention would be Billy Elakana. Moving on to the final division, the heavyweight division. I mean, this division is absolutely stacked from bottom to top. Fucking elite contenders all over. Real athletes in this division. Let's get into it. I've got 2 guys here. They're probably pretty predictable. First guy, Mario Pinto. Before UFC London, and I saw him. Shut the fuck up. Looked very good before UFC London. Absolutely terrorist performance at UFC London against Felipe Franco. Felipe Franco's a good grappler, so Mario Pinto has to try and take him down for 15 straight minutes, gets him down once, and he immediately gets back up to the feet. But before that, looked good in the UFC, you know, I'm being honest now I'm thinking about it, he's not actually that good, is he? Went to war with Austin Lane. I think Austin Lane dropped him it was his debut though, we'll give him that. Then had a decent grappling performance against Jonathan Deniz in his second fight, but Jonathan Deniz is utter shit, can't grapple for shit, good striker, but can't grapple. However, he's still undefeated, 28 years of age, 12-0, still improving probably. Young, isn't he? He's not fat as fuck, he can move, so he's probably going to have success. Probably beats a ranked guy. He's a solid grappler, former champ of Levels Heavyweight Fight League, whatever the fuck that is. Yeah, solid guy. I mean, the UK gimmick is very funny, mate, where you pretend to be Portuguese. It's not that funny anymore. When you go out there and give us terrorist performance like that against Felipe Franco. But still a decent prospect. He's okay, I guess. Not as good as we once thought, clearly. Like, he's no Tom Aspinall. The other guy, Walter Walker, was meant to fight Marcin Tybura. Pulled out because of that injury Louis Sutherland gave him, that mighty leg kick from Louis Sutherland. What a guy Louis Sutherland is. Walter Walker, though, 28 years of age, 15-1. Only lost coming to Thomas Brzezinski in his debut, but I'm pretty sure that fight was in terrible conditions for Walter Walker. Very short notice. But he's a heel hook machine. You know, as you can see with the hook around his neck. Last 4 wins via heel hook against Tafa, Kennedy Nzechukwu, Louis Sutherland. I can't remember the other one. But 4 wins via heel hook. Very impressive. No one does that. Who does that? I mean, you've got to be an elite guy to win by fucking heel hook at heavyweight where they can't grapple. But impressive nevertheless. 15-1, Johnny Walker's brother. He's probably going to get a good ranked opponent next. Maybe a Tybura. He's coming off a loss, something like that in the rankings. He's a funny guy, I guess. Massive win against Zion Clark. But this division's pretty arse, let's be honest. It's wide open. Anyone half decent unranked can go on a major run to the top until you reach the Volkovs, the Pavloviches, the Garns, the Aspinalls. Then you're in the shit. Unless you're Josh Hockett and you just get fast tracked to the top. Josh Hockett, fun guy. I would have put him in before, you know, he number 5 in the world, but he's done that now. Yeah. Outside of those two, the only other real guy, to be honest, is Brando Perecic. 2 good KO wins and some can, and then he beat Louis Sutherland. So he's not beating no one good, but he's undefeated, showing class. Actually moves about a bit. No, he didn't just stand there and get chinned by Walter Walker or Louis Sutherland. So he's okay, I guess, St. Louis, UFC London. But let's be honest, UFC's kind of falling off with prospects. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Who are your prospects? Drop a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Yeah. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.